This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you very much for your participating again. And we have a interesting topic and interesting chapter of Yash book, that is the personal protective equipment, PPEs. The chapter number is 12 in the Yash book. So before going to the question answering session, I want to brief about the some brief about the PPEs. As you know that the PPEs in the hierarchy of control is the last defense of line, and before that you put some substitution, elimination the hazard, substitution, isolation, put guarding, and put some administrative control. But in the end, the PPs in the hierarchy is the last defense of line. So yet it is the last defense of line, but it is important. And in all the world today, in all industries, like in general industry, in life plant, and in construction industry, its importance is there. So because it protects the person from the hazards, and nowadays a wide range of PPs are used, and day by day the innovation is creating in this sector. More and more innovative PPs, more and more modified by the manufacturer, and giving some new ideas to ease a person when wear it, or to protect from to 100% protection from any hazard when the person is exposed. So its importance is there, but it would work when it is selected appropriately for the activity which is going to be carried out. The PP selection is important. The training of a person to wear the PPE, or the wear, which kind of PPE have to use. So the risk assessment about the activity before going conducting and execution and activity, the risk assessment is important. What type of PPE is required in that area? So if I talking about the overview of the this Devayer's book, chapter number 12, personal protective equipment, following are the topics, following are the subject or topics which are covered. This head protection, eye and face protection, hearing protection, respiratory protection, arm and hand protection, foot and leg protection. All the body part of a person is covered. The references, uh, the references from the standard OSHA standard, from general industry, from a construction industry, is mentioned in this chapter. And if we see most of the question in ASP and CSP coming from the section of PPEs, and most of them related to the they are asking about the standard, like Z89.1 is a standard of hard hat, classification of hard hat, like that. So today when we focus on it and the in question answer session, so we have to be just keep in mind some standard as well when anybody is giving an answer of the standard. So I think he should repeat it twicely, so that that number, that a figure, that a standard name, they recall in the mind of other, and in this way we can answer easily when we attempt the questions. So we will start it now. And because I am the host today, so the first question is from my side, and then we will repeat as we did in yesterday. So the first question is related to the head protection. What are the classification of selection of head protection, hard hat? My question is that.
Sorry, please repeat your question.
What are the classification of hard hat, helmet, safety helmet? Mr. Jawad wrote the A, and Mr. Shaq as well, Mushtaq as well. So I requested to Mr. Jawad to please answer this question.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. And I hope that after I speak, then Mr. Mushlak will also give his own input. Like generally, there are the three types of the classifications of the hard helmets. It is known as the G, E, and C. Previously, they were known as B, A, and C because there was a NC code that had been arrived in, I think, 1996. I think so. Yes, in 1996 by NC, they had identified it, and then this standard was being used. Before this, like in 1984, okay, there was the BAC standard. So in a GEC, what is there? Like this is a newer one. G standard tells that the helmet should be. These helmets are actually non-conductive helmets, and first of all, they are tested for their penetration, and after that, they are tested at 20,000 voltage for 3 minutes, and the maximum permissible voltage, I mean, that can cross the helmet, that is almost 9 milliampere within 3 minutes. And after that, it is tested at 30,000 volts. The next is the E class. E class is also the non-conductive helmet. The same thing is there. The protocols are there. The only thing here is that they are tested at almost 2,200 volts for 1 minute, and the permissible current that can pass through it is the 3 milliampere. And the C class helmets, they are actually the conductive, the simple one which we mostly use on our workplaces. So these are the conductive, and if they cannot protect us against the electricity, though they can just protect us against the penetration or the compression power. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jawad. Mr. Mushtaq, please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Jawad has covered most of the thing. I would like to add just one or two points in this. Like the purpose of helmet is basically we can define it as three types, like the penetration resistance, absorption of shock, and as well as electrical shock. So these are the three things which we usually look for in a helmet, basically depending upon the purpose for what we are using. So in Mr. Jawad's answer, he told E, G as E and E as G. So for E, which was previously called as B, we are going to test for force transmission first, then for the electrical voltage of 20,000, and later on for the 30,000. And for the classification for G, we are testing for 2200 volts for 1 minute, and it's for 3 milliamps leakage current. that is a leakage current which we are milliamps which I have calculated. And C is not for the electrical. It doesn't intended for any electrical work, so we are not going to use the C. So here the penetration resistance is the helmet should be strong enough whenever anything falls onto it, and that is again classified separately. And the shock absorbing is basically depending upon the crown strap, and that has a clearance difference from the skull and to the shell. That is been defined again, and it should have an electrical shock absorbing into that. So this is what I feel mostly Mr. Dawad has answered the question.
Thank you, Mr. Mushtaq. Yes, I have noticed that I have made a little mistake. Like for G, I spoke about E, and for E, I spoke about G. Okay, yeah, E, I have just to make it remember that this is from the electrical. Okay, excellent. Actually, it is the excellent, and G is the good, actually. Otherwise, this is a way just to make me remember. Thanks for correcting me also. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Actually, persons who are working in an electrical transformer in that area, specifically they should have a E type of. So normal electrician in the construction places like not who are dealing with 440 or 220 volts, G is suitable. It's okay. But for the rest of the thing, we are not going. Usually, most of the cases we never use this C kind in our construction site.
One thing I want to add, as there are three classes G, E, and C. So I think it is easy. It is easy to remember, like G for journal, E for electrical, and C for conductive. So in this way, I think we can remember these three classes.
Agree,
Yeah,
because this is a way how to remember something.
yeah, this is a very easy way because previously I used to remember ABC only. So when we used to write the exams, but now that was a little bit confusing. But this classification is very easy, as you said, E for electrical, G for general, and C for non.
Okay, anybody else give some inputs? So we move to the next participant, Mr. Abdul Ghaffar. What is your question?
Okay, my question is about hearing protection. Which hearing protection is more effective? It is earplug or muff, that like just headphone. Which one is more effective?
Okay. So I write the A answer. So
Mr.
I have
Imran
to
is the
give,
first one.
yes, I have to give some answer. Mr. Abdul Ghaffar, basically, it is totally depend upon the environment where you are using the air muff or using the sorry. It is same as where you are using the ear muff and earplugs. The environment, depending upon the environment and the exposure and your exposure rate to the environment, means if you are working, if there is a 85 decibel in that you are working, so you for 8 hours you need to be do for the for the earplug. Please mute your mic, Mr. Mushtaq. Thank you. And if you are operating, you are exposing to the environment which have a greater than 100 decibel, then you will use the earmuff at that place. So it's totally depend upon the environment where you are working. Thank you. Mr. Jawad, please answer.
Yes, Mr. Imran, your answer is quite right. Yeah, actually, you have explained, Mr. Ghaffar, about this thing. Like earmuffs, actually, they go for more NRR. Noise reduction rate attenuation is actually achieved with the earmuffs. But if we are going to make use of the earplugs, so we cannot achieve that one, because the earmuffs make a good seal around the ear. Okay, so anything that can make a good sealing around the air that has more noise reduction attenuation. So yes, you're right. Yes, Mr. Mushtaq, please.
Yeah, actually, the simple way how I understand this is ear plugs we put inside the canal of our ear. Okay, so what happens is it completely blocks the noise, whatever it's going into your ear towards the ear. But whereas the ear muff, it is covering from the sides of your ear, so it is having a seal. So until unless it is providing a good seal, then it will not serve that purpose. So as you mentioned that NRR value, when we go for the manufacturers like 3M and other things, they give more NRR value for the ear plugs instead of ear muff. So the ear muffs is having very less NRR value. So because and second thing is when we are putting across your ears, there will be some obstacles, maybe like the hair or maybe the spectacles. Whoever is wearing the spectacles, or maybe it is not fitting tight, maybe due to his ear, or maybe sometimes the females also use because they will be having earrings or something like that, or so these are the things, and some vibration because it is across some shallowness has been created across your ear. So the thing is, one is the canal which has been blocked when compared to the hollowness which across your ear. It's when we compare these two, so I feel that earplugs gives more reduction in the noise level when compared to the obviously earmuffs. This is my answer here.
Sorry, Mr. Mushtaq, I couldn't understand. You mean to say the earplugs give more noise reduction than the earmuffs?
Yes, exactly. Whenever we see the 3M or 3M visually used on my projects, like on my side plant, the 3M earmuffs. So here instead of earplug, when we go for earplug, it is having more NRR value, like it is having 14 like that, 14, 16, so maximum 16 we are having. But whereas for earmuffs we are having 14.
No, one
Sometimes
thing, please. Yeah, okay. One thing make me understand one thing, yes. Whether they are the molded, because only the molded earplugs, okay, they can reduce the noise. I mean, we can get noise reduction attenuation by the molded one. The other, which are made up of this rubber, simple, or this foam, or this is the glass fiber, or what else, they are not regarded as the good for attenuating for the noise reduction attenuation. Only what actually we had read that this ear muffs they can provide, the which actually the one we are having on our premises, that is actually not working well. I give you one example here. uh, I was watching one program that was an Indian program of this guy. He's a singer. He's a young guy. I don't remember his name now this time. So one person came, or I for the audition. Okay, he came and he asked him to wear this ear muff. Okay, when the guy worn that ear muff at the time, weird, yeah, I think. that earmuff. At that time, he said, I cannot sing because I am not going to listen to my own voice. And at that time, he said, no, you have to sing in this way. But he once again tried to sing, but he couldn't even hear his own voice. Otherwise, we can at least hear our own voice. So it means that there are actually the earmuffs which can make a good ceiling across the head, I mean the ears, and we cannot hear the things very easily. And this is an important question because there's a difference of opinion between you and me. Then we will try to re-verify whether the earplugs or the earmuffs are going to provide noise reduction.
Okay, as per my opinion, as I have studied in Nibosh IDP and Nibosh book, earmuffs noise reduction rate is better. They are more effective.
Yes. Yes, yes. So, Mr. Mushad, do you want to add something
Yeah.
more? Okay. Okay. We have a new joiner, Mr. Jawad Ahmed Rana. Welcome, Mr. Jawad Ahmed Rana. Now we move uh, forward to the next participant for a question. Mr. Jawad, it's your turn now.
Okay, thank you, Imran. My question is, like a person who has once suffered from the threshold shift, okay, now we want to put him to a workplace, then how much the noise reduction attenuation should be achieved for him when he has to wear the earplugs or earmuffs, what else? So how much dB at that time should be there? Let me repeat this. When a person who is having the threshold shift, now we want him to work in a noisy area. So the earplugs or the earmuffs which he is using, maximum how much dB these earmuffs or earplugs should allow him. Beyond that, it's not good. It is hazardous.
So, anybody on an answer on it?
I'm talking about the standard threshold shift that has been occurred, and mostly the
Mr.
standard
Asgar,
threshold shift is by the 10 dB.
okay. Mr. Asgar, want to add something? Want to give the answer? Mr. Abdul Ghaffar?
Uh, I don't know exactly how much. It may be about 70 decibel. The average noise dose which he can be exposed, it may be 70 decibel. I guess. I am not for sure about that.
Okay, Mr. Abdul Ghaffar. So anybody wants to give some more input, then I will try to, because I am not asking any question out of Yates. Okay,
Okay,
let me
Mr.
speak over this. Yeah, some person. Yeah, let me speak over
Yes,
this.
yes.
Because
Can
first
you
of all,
can?
we have to little bit understand about what is the actually a standard threshold shift. Mostly, what happens, the people who are actually working in an area where the noise level is more than 85 decibel, and mostly it is regarded the people whose average, I mean this TWA, total weighted average for the noise is more than 85 decibel. Okay, So these people have to go under the hair conversation program, these people. Because sometimes the client says, okay, we need all the people for this audiometry test, they have to go under the hair conversation program. No, the standard says only the people who have the weighted average of 85 decibel and more, they have to undergo. For example, if he's a medic doesn't go there 85 decibel, he doesn't achieve, and even he doesn't go to the generator area like for the 15 minutes. Okay, so these people, first of all, we have to identify, okay, who are going. Now they will undergo the uh, this audiometric test. Now what they do, these again, this audiometry, actually this time the audiometry is done for these people, and the baseline study is adopted, because the different types of the frequencies, we make the person to hear different frequencies of sound. So then he identifies whether he can hear or not, then they can identify the depth level of that person. Anyhow, I am just trying to expand all these things. Now what is happening, uh, like after 1 year, again the test is conducted. Now when the test is conducted for whom, the people whose baseline study had been adopted, then they identify, okay, how much difference of the hearing power is there for the person. Okay, if the system identifies the difference of the hearing power is at least 10 decibel, so it means that this person has gone under the standard threshold shift. So standard threshold shift is like the difference of hearing by the 10 decibel of the sound. So these people who have gone under the standard threshold shift, so they can work in the workplace when their earmuffs or earplugs should be having attenuation not more than 90 decibel. Okay, means not more than 90 decibel. If it is more than 90 decibel, there is a chance that they may go through the further threshold shift. Okay, threshold shift means that the power, the decreasing the hearing power, this is called the threshold shift. So that ACGIH, American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists, they have put 85 dB. Okay, the worker should not be exposed more than 85 dB. OSHA says the person should not be exposed more than 90 dB. Mostly these standards which we are following, they are the OSHA standards. So according to OSHA, okay, if a person has gone under a threshold shift, okay, mostly sometimes they are the permanent also. Okay, so what happens, so more than 90% will also increase the chances of the threshold shift. Let me add few things here also. 85 decibel, actually 85 decibel is that he is receiving the 50% of the dose. Okay, just keep remembered, 85 decibel means the noise dose is 50%. 90 decibel is the noise dose is the 100%. Okay, this is the 100% dose a person can achieve. After this, he should not having that dose. Which dose? On the basis of TWA, total weighted average. Total weighted average means on the base of 8 hours. For example, if a person has gone to 95 decibel, but he stayed there only for 5 minutes. So for the 5 minutes, it does not mean that he has gone beyond the total weightage average, because it is an average sound level, okay, or the sound power a person is going to pass through his ears, okay, for the 8 hours. So this is very important thing. Otherwise, if somebody says, okay, make this like 100, and person has worked stayed 100 decibel where the generators, and he has stayed there for 30 seconds, so what you are going to do? No, even this person does not need to go through this I mean this hair conversation program, because hair conversation program is only required when the average uh, I mean exposure of sound for 8 hours is more than 85 decibel. So this is something important, okay, which every person has to be remembered, has to keep it remembered. Sometimes my English gets very poor.
Okay, well elaborated, Mr. Jawad. Please explain it, which I am asking about that. If a person goes in an area having a 120 or 130, basically steam is blowing and person is going and exposed to the 120 or 130 decibel for a very short period of time, maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but he didn't wear any earmuff or any ear protection. So uh, maybe this person is equal to that person which you are talking about, that the 85 for TWA for 8 hours is that person is equal.
No, it's actually not equal. Yes, you can make it equal. Yes, it can be equal. Like a person who has gone for 15 minutes with 15, for example, decibel. Okay, for 15 minutes. The other person, for example, he has gone 85 decibel, 87 decibel for 8 hours. Okay, his 15 minute and the other person, the 8 hours will become equal. Okay, but it depends upon the calculation, because there is a calculation. It's actually not given here, but I can also tell you about the calculation. First of all, actually you have to calculate the dose. Okay, how much dose a person has achieved. You can get this dose even by the noise dosimeter. Otherwise, mathematically you can calculate. What actually you have to do, you have to make the calculation is like this. For example, a person who has worked for 87 decibel for 3 hours. Okay, and the next 4 hours, for example, he has worked at 95 decibel hours, for example, or 90 decibel for 4 hours. So how you will get this TWA for 8 hours? Even he has worked for the 7 hours, but you have to make calculation on the basis of 8 hours. So there is actually a formula. The formula is the 100 that is multiplied by C1 T1 plus C2 by T2 plus C3 by T3. Okay, all are C1 by T1. So same till Cn by Tn. Actually, this is the formula by which you calculate the dose. What is actually the C? C is the time spent by the person in the noise, like for 3 hours. So you have to keep in mind this is 3 hours, not in minutes. That is divided by the time. Okay, what is the time actually? Here the time you have to also calculate on the basis of TWA. So there is also a formula. If you want to write down, that is actually the 8 divided by 2 raised power L minus 20 uh, by 5. Okay, so if you can write down this. So in this scenario, where what is the L actually? L is the sound level at that time in the decibel. So here you can calculate the T value, okay, or the Tn value. So how you can calculate this is otherwise you are having one table. If you have that table, that will make your life very easy. For example, if a person who has worked for 3 hours at a noise level of, for example, 87 decibel, so what will be having for C1 by T1, for example, C1 will in C1 it will come 3, and in T1 it will come 12.1, for example. Okay, this will be the table it will be telling you, or if you make this calculation as the formula I have told you, then it will also come the like for example to 12.1. For all the durations, different durations, you will make a summation, then you will get a dose. Okay, then you have to put this dose into a TWA formula. There is a formula for TWA that is actually 16.61 into log 10. There is also a log 20, that's for the different case. Okay, log 10 that is multiplied by D by 100. D by 100, D is actually the dose which you have already calculated, plus 90. 90 is actually a standard for this OSHA standard. Okay, so by this way you will get the TWA total weightage average. Now if your total weightage average that comes more than 90, so it means that you are getting 100% dose. If it is coming 85, you are having 50% dose. If you 50% of the dose. Okay, So this is a way you calculate a TWA. The same question, like if a person is working at a 115 decibel or even 120 decibel, 120 is very, very high actually. Like for the steam, it would be there, yeah, sure. Like even for the jets, it is near to the 130. So for these people, only few minutes stay will be equivalent to many hours stay on the low level of the noise. So in this way you can calculate the person whether he has got the exposure more than 85 decibel of TWA. Once he has done, then he will be included in the hair conversation program, and every year his test will be conducted. And if once it is identified that he has got threshold shift means the hearing the loss of hearing power by 10 decibel. So it means that then this person should only wear those ear muffs which are going to have a noise reduction rate of 90 decibel, not more. Now you cannot go for okay, we make him stay for 2 minutes for on 100 decibel, no problem. No, 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 no. For his life, he will only wear those decibel when the noise attenuation level in the area should not more than 90 decibel. Now if you want to send him to the higher noise area, then you have to give him those earplugs or ear muffs which can maintain his noise attenuation level from 90 and the downward. You understood or no?
Now
Yeah,
things
yes, very well explained.
easily understand. One thing more is that uh, we
Yes,
have
please.
you comparison both the person who may exposed to the higher side of decibel and a person who is exposed to the lower side is not equal, and only they are comparison of their dose rate. Am I right?
Yes, the only comparison the dose rate. That's why 85 decibel means 50% dose rate. 90 decibel is 100% dose rate on TWA. Because keep in mind we have to make calculation on TWA. For example, for 120 decibel, for 115 decibel, okay, a person is allowed to work. I think the 5 minutes. I think, or for 15 minutes. I actually don't remember this at all this time because you can also get it from a table. There is a table. From the table you can identify. This will actually help you easily. Otherwise the formula which I have told you, then you have to make a complete calculation from that formula, and then you can identify, okay, whether the noise TWA is more than 90 decibel or less than 90 decibel.
Okay, Mr. Jawad, when we studied it, the chapter number 12, there is no formula for NRR or TWA calculation. So, is this formula available in this book so that our other participants may try it and may solve some question?
I hope the formula will be there somewhere because I remember, I think the time when I might have read that one, this formula will be there in Yates, but I'm not sure where it is. Maybe if there is some chapter related to the noise, the formula will be 100% there if the chapter of noise is there, because I have totally forgotten this whether it's there or not. Yeah, but one thing is available there about your earplugs and earmuffs. So how you can make the calculation for your earmuffs and earplugs, that for the selection of for the selection of your earmuffs and the earplugs, how you can make a calculation. This calculation is given in this
Okay,
chapter, but it is the statement, not mathematically.
okay. So thank you, Mr. Jawad. Very well elaborated. Uh,
Uh,
now,
I have one
what
doubt. Like,
question should we start?
Here I have one point. Here,
Yes, yes, sure,
so
go
there
ahead.
are two types of noise. There are two types of noise. One is continuous noise, and other one is impulse noise. Okay, when we are dealing with continuous noise, we time weighted average. And what about impulse noise? What is the peak limit of impulse noise? which an human ear can be exposed.
Actually, these are the intermittent noises. Intermittent noises are there. These
Uh,
things can also be calculated. Actually, mostly, okay, I give you example. You are working in some high vibration areas. Okay, so what is happening? The sound level goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. Uh, so in this way, these are called the intermittent. Okay, so means that these are the impulsive sort of things. Okay, come, go, come, go, come, go, come, go. So what you do mostly, you are the noise dosimeters. They are actually recommended here. Mostly the noise dosimeters make a complete average of the time. From this time to this time the person has worked, and they make a complete calculation. Then you have not to worry. But what you have to do, you have to set that knob on I at that time. When you set it on I, then it will give you the average, that this is the noise on I, average noise on I. But if you want to check the continuous one, then you have to put this knob of the noise dosimeter on the C. Okay, when you make it C, then you can do this. Otherwise, there is only one option, that is the uh, like in a specific time frame, like you make a person stand for their 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute, and you are having this noise meter at that time. You check at the noise meter, and also check this the knob near the eye. Okay, you check this how much sound is coming. So at that time it is actually making an average on its back end. Okay, then what you do for this thing, I mean the average noise, then you can calculate it on the basis of the TWA by the formula which I have explained a little bit before.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, if it's not clear, let me repeat it once again. If it's not clear, so a continuous means, for example, this is 85 decibels. Your dosimeter will calculate, like for 1 hour you are there, it will only calculate 85 decibel. So it is a continuous. It is going the same level, no change there. Okay. Intermittent also comes. It comes high and then it comes very low, or even sometime it goes off. There is no sound at the time. Okay, so it is the intermittent at that time. So these are the I think mostly the recommended is this one. You have to make use of this thing, intermittent, because it actually gives you the good average of the things. If the continuous is there, so it means the sound level is almost going continuously. Almost it is the same level. Yes, little bit fluctuation of the sound is there, but it gives you the same level of the sound.
okay, gentlemen, if anybody has and some input in this point, uh, the, if not, then we will move forward.
Actually, I have a question. Like we say that we have like PP free zone, and this particular PP is required in this location. So we give a simple signage saying that ear protection is required in this area. For like the management team sometimes visits the plant and say, "Oh, I will just go for 1 minute and come, or 5 minutes and come." So how we are going to explain them, because the decibels are like 100 decibels or 110 decibels.
Well, Mr. Mushtaq, yes, you can, because hazard is there. When the noise hazard sign is there, it becomes actually also mandatory that we have to apply this. But if the person is going inside and he is there with a 30 seconds, and if you make a calculation, if the overall TW for 8 hour TW is getting less than 85 decibel, otherwise less than 90 decibel, okay, according to OSHA, then it's okay. The person can go inside the generator area or high noise area, but he should not increase TW. His TW should not increase more than 90 decibel. But there is another thing: the hazard is there, but it is a violation of the policy and procedure actually. The noise sign is there. Senior is not going without with by wearing this earplugs or the ear muffs, and he says nothing is going to happen with him, though it is not going to happen with him according to TWA. But this is the violation of the policy and procedure.
Thank you, Mr. Jawad.
Okay, Now we will move forward to the next
Yeah,
question, and the turn is
I want
Mr.
to, yes, I
Yes,
want to add
Mr. Azkar, it
one
is
thing.
your turn now. It's your turn now. Yes.
Uh, no, first, I think before questioning, I want to add one thing for this noise exposure limits.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I think as per my knowledge and OSHA standard, it is 90 decibel for 8 hours. And if it is 115 decibel, then I think it is uh, one quarter of a of an hour. So this depends upon the duration of the exposure. If it is for 8 hours, it is 90 decibel. If we like increase the decibel, like if we have a noisy area and their sound level is 100 decibel, so maximum as per OSHA, I think maximum we can spend 2 hours there, not more than this.
Yes, Mr. Asgar, you are right. The same thing I was explaining. I was using the word TWA instead of 8 hours. So TWA means OSHA declares TWA for 8 hours. Total weighted average, they calculate it actually on the basis of 8 hours. So 90 dB TWA. Okay, so it means that for 8 hours, and yes, like 115 decibel, it is a one quarter of hour means 15 minutes. So a person can work there at for 15 minutes without wearing the earplugs. But again, it is mostly recommended. It's mostly recommended the person should not. Go in the high noisy area without wearing the earplug. But one thing is there, once a person has gone through the threshold shift, then if it is the TW or what else, he has to wear the earplugs when his earplugs or earmuffs are having the noise not more than 90 decibel
Yeah,
overall.
yeah, yes,
Not
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
TW.
yeah,
Yeah.
valid point. Okay, now my question is this is very, I think, simple question. Like
Okay.
we have a chemical, for example, we have sulfuric acid at site, and some of the workers are there who has to use that sulfuric acid. So what type of PPs they have to use, and who will decide that that who has to wear this PPs or use this PPs?
So yes, Mr. Jawad,
Yes,
please
mostly
answer.
for the acids, you have to wear the rubber. Okay, this is very clear. You cannot wear the leather, and so the best thing here is the leather gloves. You are speaking about the gloves, I think.
No, not only gloves. PPs, general PPs, like we have a chemical at site. Just for example, sulfuric acid, for example. So what are the PPs required for that chemical for the handling, use?
Mhm.
What are the
Okay,
PPs
okay,
we have?
Mr.
okay. Now,
Mr. Jawad, Mr. Azkar is want all the PPs, the body cover.
okay, okay, okay. Now, for this, it depends upon the situation, the how much the environment. Like if it is inside, the chances of the vapors are very high. So mostly you need to have the respirators there instead of having the simple, the shield or simple mask. Okay, you need to have the respirator. This is the requirement there, and you need to have a proper face shield at the time. Okay, and if you have worn the face shield, then you don't need to wear the goggles. Okay, face shield actually the a full face shield. Okay, this you need to wear. Then you also need to wear the full arm gauntlets, not only the this half gloves. Okay, complete rubber gauntlets you have to wear. You have to wear the apron at that time. The best practice is this, that the complete coverall, that should be the complete rubber coverall you have to wear, but issue at the time is the air passage, that you cannot, but it depends upon the time, how much you want to spend. So that's why it is called, okay, you have to wear the apron at that time, and the long shoes, rubber shoes, you have to wear at that time. So this is a way that you can handle this. But the thing is that don't make use of any leather or any neoprene, etc. The only thing is the pure rubber that you have to, mostly these are the butyl rubbers.
Okay, your answer is okay, but how do we know that which type of PPs we have to use for that particular
You have your
chemical?
MSDS. You have your MSDS, because MSDS is the thing which will tell you, because you even don't know about the concentration of the chemical. Okay, so your engineer, one thing is there, if there is some person from the lab, he will advise you, okay, about this thing. This is the actually molarity or molality of your this acid sulfuric acid. If it's the highly concentrated, like its pH is, for example, 1 at that time, and it is coming from the manufacturer, always read the manufacturer guidelines, who will help you to identify. Don't assume by yourself for this thing.
And one thing more you can add, uh, if you know that the same chemicals is arriving at your site on a regular basis, or you chop down some list of the chemicals, so you put some PP selection chart with the help of MSDS. So from the PP selection chart, you can easily identify what type of PP is required for this type of chemical, and you can also issue a flyer of this chart, or also you can display of that chart, that a PP selection chart, to the prominent places where the chemical is stored. So there are so many administrative control you can put in place.
Mr. Imran, I just want to add one thing. Yes, you're right here. It will be helping a lot. But according to the HCS, like Hazard Communication Standard, I think it is the dot 1200. I think 1910 dot 1200. This is the HASCOM standard by OSHA. So OSHA says that you cannot use. Actually, they do not classify the material on the basis of the category. They recommend that each and every chemical should be having its own MSDS. Every chemical, like there are that sulfuric acid. Okay, one sulfuric acid is produced by one manufacturer, the other is produced by the other manufacturer. Mostly it is recommended that it should be coming from the manufacturer. Okay, here we can little bit bear. Okay, both of the PPs, they will be same, but there are the one is the sulfuric acid and other is the nitric acid. Okay, the SDS or MSDS, that should be totally I mean we cannot make use of this HNO3 nitric acid, SDS for the sulfuric acid, SDS. This is actually the general recommendation by the OSHA according to its HCS standard. Okay, don't categorize the chemicals. Okay, classify each chemical, not as per the category, by its own nature. Okay, you have to classify.
Yes, Mr. Jawad. This question was being asked in one of my previous interview, and safety manager, he asked me this question, and I told him the same answer, that OSHA recommends that if you have any chemicals, don't guess or don't assume anything. Just read the MSDA material safety data sheet, and you have to follow the recommendation written in the MSDS.
Okay, thank you,
Uh,
thank you, Jawad.
I have one question also regarding this. Recently, they have given me a task of deciding a face shield while handling chemical like chemicals. So we usually have what do you say, alkalis, concentrated alkalis and acids both. So they are asking to prescribe one face shield which they can use it for both the purpose. Is it possible to have one face shield which can be used for both of the purpose?
Sorry, Mr. Shai, could you repeat your question?
Actually,
I didn't understand.
Actually, Mr. Shah, your mic is, I think, voice is we can't understand your voice. So, can you
Yeah,
please?
actually, recently they have given me a task to identify a face shield which can suit both for acidic and chemical alkali chemical handling. So, do we have any face shield which can be used for both the things? Any idea about that?
So, Mr. Raj,
Mr. Mushraf, yeah, it actually
Uh,
because depends upon, like if it depends upon the material also. I don't know the exact answer. The one thing is there you have to consult the MSDS. They will give you a little bit detailed information about this thing. But if you are purchasing this one, at least you should read its booklet. So what they are telling, okay, there are the some things which are reactive to the acid. Okay, when they are reactive to the acid, so it means that we cannot use that type of the face shield with the acidic one. The other one which are reactive with the alkaline, so it means that we cannot use it for the alkaline. If there is some composite, there is a shield that is made up of the composite material which can withstand both acidic and the alkaline nature, then we can make use of that one. Okay, so no perfect answer, at least from my side, for this thing.
okay, thank you.
okay, Mr. Mushtaq, after the
Yeah.
Mr. Asghar, it's your turn. So, you can ask one question more.
It's me.
Yes, yes, it's your turn after Mr.
Yeah.
Asghar.
Uh, Actually, it's a simple one. Like, what is the safety zone? What does a safety zone mean in a head protection, and what should it clearance be? So this is the question. Like, shall I repeat the question?
No, I think your question is much elaborated. Thank you. So again, Jawad, please answer this question.
Okay. Safety zone is actually that is regarded in the helmet. That is actually the area that falls between this shock absorbing net or band and inside the helmet. This area is called the safety zone. Okay, and it's mostly the its distances or the width is or this area. It's almost, it should be between 1 inch to 1.33 inches. Okay, it should be in between this one.
Yeah, exactly. It is the what the explanation is correct. Like according to this, it's like a 1 to 1.125 inches. 1 inch to 1.25 inches.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's
almost like
correct.
the 1 to 1 point.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else want to give his input in this question? Okay, now we have a fresh participant, Mr. Javed Ahmed Rana. Are you there, Mr. Javed Ahmed Rana?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, okay. Now it's your turn. You can ask the question, then the other participant will answer it.
Yeah, actually, I couldn't understand the last question. So can you please can I know the detail of this question? 1.1 inch, 1 to 1.25 inches. Can anybody elaborate this one?
Requested to Mr. Mushtaq, please answer it. Answer it again, Mr. Mushtaq.
Yeah. Actually, it is in the helmet. We have a shock absorbing lining that for the headband and to the shell. the distance in order for the to your skull. So the distance that is the safe zone. So it usually it should be like 1 inch to 1.25 inches, so that it absorbs the shock when anything falls onto your head. So that is the clearance between the hard hat and the suspension. We call it as a safety zone.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Javed, it is the clearance between the harness inside the helmet and the top of the material, the
Hard
body
hat
of
and
the
suspension.
yes, yeah, hard
Hard
harness.
hat.
Yes, yes. So, are you clear now, Mr. Javed Ahmed Rana?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, now you can ask the question. Another participant will give it the answer.
So actually, I'm working in one of the weaving unit. So
Okay.
the yeah, the people was asking a question, and Mr. Jawad is also giving the very details, elaborated answers. So we were talking about the earplugs and the muffs. So can any standard that we can make the our production is hall? Is there any standard for the to reduce the noise levels?
Mr. Javed, Mr. Jawad, understand your question, but please repeat it for the other participant. Thank you.
I told that I am working in the one of the weaving unit, the textile weaving unit, and we have the air jets machine. So the production hall. So we were asking from our consultant when we were there constructing our shed, weaving shed. So they were telling that we can also structureize that your production hall or production unit can by structure it can reduce your noise level. So is there any standard, please?
Okay. Okay. Thank you for mentioning.
Okay.
Jawad, please
Yes, Mr.
proceed.
Yeah, for this actually, what you have to do, first of all, you have to make a survey, noise survey of your areas. Okay, so then you have to make a complete this, and the best thing is this that if you are going to have these noise dosimeter or the noise meters, who can give you a value of TWA. Okay, this is very important. Otherwise, we are having the two things: the C value, okay, and the other is like yes, one is the C value and other is like the A value. Okay, so what you are going to do, like if it is the C value, so what you have to do, you have to first of all convert into the TWA. Even if it is the A value, you have to convert into the TWA. This is very important. Either you are the noise survey meter or the dosimeter have to give you the TWA, or you have to make a general calculation of the area, identify the area and make your own TWA according to your own calculation. Then your next step is this: if it is coming from the C value, okay, and you convert it into the TWA, then all the air muffs which are available, or the earplugs which are available in the market, okay, there is written down NRR, not noise reduction rate. What you will do from that TWA, you will minus the NRR. Okay, once you have subtracted this NRR, it will give you the remaining value. Okay, maybe you got the TWA, for example, 110. Okay, and your noise, your NRR was, for example, they were giving some by 10. Okay, so when you will minus it, then the answer will be coming the 90. So it means that the maximum noise which they can retain at that time, that is the 90 decibel. Okay, above this they cannot retain. For example, your noise level was 105 decibel, that was coming in the TWA, for example. Now what you do, when you subtracted the NRR from there, and now it is coming the 90, for example, 5. Okay, if the 95 or 97 is coming, so it means that when you will wear this ear plug or ear muff at the 105 decibel, still you are having the noise of 105 or 107 decibel, so it is useless. Okay, so in this way first make the calculation, then go to the market and then check the NRR value on your earplug and the ear muff. If it is coming 90 decibel, after your calculation, after subtracting that NRR, if it is coming 90 decibel, then you have to purchase this. If it is coming more than 90 decibel, then you have to go for the other one with a greater quality. So this is a way you can do a selection of your earmuffs or the earplugs. But if it is coming like this is the average, like A weighted you are getting. One is the C weighted and other is the A weighted. If it is, your calculation is coming into the A weighted, what you will do? First of all, similarly convert into the TWA. Then you have to subtract 7 from the TWA. From the NRR. Okay, NRR minus 7. Then what the value will come? Then from the total TWA which we had attained from the A weighted, okay, then you will minus this NRR which you had achieved after subtracting 7 from NRR. If it is coming 90 decibel, okay, so it means, okay, if it is coming more than 90 decibel, then this ear plug or ear muff is not for the requirement. Okay, then you have to go for the higher quality one.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Let me please quickly summarize this once again. Let me quickly, because when you are going to explain, things are not very clear. Once you have explained, then things go very quickly. So the thing is this: first of all, you have your own dosimeter. Check your dosimeter if it can give you the C weighted average. So convert this C weighted into the TWA. Okay, for 8 hours. Okay, then you have to subtract this value of TWA, you have to subtract NRR, which is given on the ear muff, from this TWA. If the answer is coming more than 90 decibel, don't use it. If the answer is coming 90 decibel and less, then you can use this. If the dosimeter is giving you answer in like A weighted, then convert into the TWA once again. But from the ear muff NRR, you have to minus 7. What the answer will come? Then from that TWA, you have to subtract this value, okay, which you received by subtracting 7 from NRR. Once if the answer is more than 90, you don't use this. If it is 90 and less than this, then you can use this. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jawad, and I think the answer is well elaborated. We welcome Mr. Muhammad Abdul Manaf, and welcome to Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor as well. So it's okay, thank you. Now it's turn Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor. You can ask the question, the other participant will give the answer. Mr. Ali Raza. Mr. Ali Raza, are you there? Okay, now we will move forward to Mr. Mohammed. Please, you can ask the question related to the chapter 12 PPEs.
Okay. One question I'm always facing, and I have always confusing while I'm reading the answers about the type of chemical hand gloves. Actually, this question I found too many times, in especially in span 2017. He asking always about the category or the type of the hand gloves for chemical. There is something for corrosive, for acids, and every type have names. So if anybody can explain in manner way, to be good for us because this question is very important. Type of chemical gloves, chemical hand gloves. Okay.
Yes, yes. So again, Mr. Jawad, please answer this question.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed, I just need to ask you one question. This is specifically for the chemical gloves, or this is generally about the gloves you are having the different classifications actually. Like there are the E class, G class, and there come the F class and the P class. Okay, E for excellent and G for good, F for fair, and P for poor. If the question is something like this, yeah, the thing is like a break point. Actually, breakthrough point. What is the breakthrough point? For example, if you have worn one gloves, okay, and you are working with this, okay, and your normal job is there, okay, and if it can set if you have worked for 8 hours and you have found more than 8 hours and you have found still your glove is okay and no acid or chemical is going inside it and everything your hand is totally clean, so this means that this is the E class, they are the excellent. For the good class is this, that they can work well till 4 hours, okay, till 4 hours they can work, okay, and after 4 hours they begin to break. Okay, when they begin to break, what happens with them, when you take off your hand from the glove, so what will be happening, there will be some chemical on your hand, so it means that they have broken down, the chemical has seeped into your hands. Okay, this is the good class. The other class that is coming, they are the fair. Fair means they are more than one but less than four. Okay, oh sorry, not less than four, these are the, I mean, good class. Four is the good class, means one means they are broken down after 1 hour. We have to imagine this, excellent are broken down breakthroughs after 8 hours. This good class is the breakthrough after 4 hours, and for fair class the breakthrough is after 1 hour, means they get damaged after 1 hour of working, so it means that they are fair, you can work for 1 hour. But if they are broken down less than 1 hour, so it means that they are called the P class, means the poor class. Yes,
Thank you
please.
for explanations. But what you explain is the quality of the gloves, okay? And it is different from type to type as per what I am dealing with what. And if you check the page number 351 for the same chapter, for the chapter number 12, you will find some table number 12.4. In this table, yes, he have explained at first what is the meaning of E class, G class, F class, B class, as you explained, but this you can consider for every type of a class of gloves. But what is the type of the gloves? We have natural rubber, we have neoprene, we have beta rubber, PVC, like that, and every type are considered for some group of chemicals. Okay, actually this table is very hard to get the information from this table, but actually so many questions coming in this area. For example, he consider one chemical like, for example, calcium hypochlorite, and asking for you what is the type for gloves are adapted with this type, and they give you four type from this glove, give you PVC, nitrile, Veton, neoprene, natural rubber, and ask you about this. Okay, so if I consider, I will consider the E classes. Okay, but I will consider, for example, betel rubber. Okay, as a E classes for this gloves. So every type of this gloves consider B for group of chemicals, and you cannot consider this table because, as you see, how many E classes for the same chemicals. Okay, but in the same time, you can find these three types are coming in one questions. So which answer I can answer? Which choice from this? Even they are considered as a E classes, 3 of them. That's why I'm confusing when I study or get the information
Okay,
from this table.
I am trying to give some input in regarding this. You know that the every chemical has some class. So as Mr. Jawad already highlighted that we distinguish the glove type from the chemical and from its class. So its example is one example is that if you use the ethyl acetate, so ethyl family is belong to the class of ester, I think. And if there is a sulfuric acid, so the sulfuric acid is a inorganic mineral acid class. If we're talking about the hydrosulfuric acid, the hydrosulfuric acid is an inorganic mineral acid class. So there is a standard against each class which type of gloves, chemical gloves is used. So first we have to be identify the chemical which is very known that which on what chemical we are working. So identify the class, and against that we can select the gloves. So my input is that because you are rightly said that it is very difficult to distinguish or to identify the which type of uh, chemical gloves is suitable for which type of chemical class. So, Mr. Jawad, have you any input regarding this point?
Yeah, because it's not very easy to identify, but yes, if you can understand the nature of the chemical, like as you told the classes, it's like they are the esters, they are the ketones, or like inorganic acids are there. So which type of hydrocarbon they say. So according by keeping in mind, then you can identify something which one of the the gloves will be better. Yes, one thing I have actually identified, like for example, butyl rubbers. If the butyl rubber is coming, I mean, you are going to use butyl rubber. It's mostly a very good rubber for many of the acids even. If you are going to make use another one that is excellent, then the butyl rubber will also be excellent for that class. So if you quickly, because let me open that one, which is 351, he has said. Okay, in 351, you just look into the butyl rubber. Now, for the butyl rubber, just check here the EEE. Okay, now go to any other one from these organic acids. Okay, from the organic acid you go where E is coming. Okay, except this butyl rubber, you will find that in the butyl rubber E is also coming here. Okay, so E is coming here. So it means that if we classify any chemical for the I mean this glove for the organic chemicals, so we can find that this butyl rubber is regarded as the excellent. Yeah, but except for this malic acid. Yeah, this is a malic acid. We don't know. Okay, because this was my just a pre-assumption. I just thought this is E is coming for there. But the only conclusion now which I can make, the thing is this, first of all, we have to know the actual specifications of the chemical which we are going to handle. Okay, and against that thing we have to select our gloves, whether they can be the rubber gloves or they can be the PVC or the leather gloves. Okay, so I do agree with Mr. Mohammed. Otherwise, our mind will be totally messed up. What the actual answer will be there, but at least one thing will help us a lot. A lot, like if we are going to deal with the acids, then we have to keep in mind we cannot use the leather gloves. Okay, we have to use the rubber gloves. Okay, so this thing you have to keep in mind. The same thing is this: if we are going to make use some electrical equipment, we are going to work with electrical equipment, again we have to make use the rubber gloves instead of the leather gloves. Okay, and the last thing is this, like the neoprene gloves are there. So we have to first of all try to understand what actually the neoprene glove is. Okay, the one or the what is the nitrile glove. So like the surgical gloves are there. So here we have to identify which one of the surgical gloves are there, whether they are the neoprene or the nitrile gloves. Okay, and in our work area we are having the some gloves which we wear on the daily basis, where the paint is there. Okay, inside there is a cotton, but above this there is a complete paint. So we have to understand whether this is a nitrile glove or this is a neoprene type of the glove. Once we understand this, then we can easily identify at least, okay, which type of the chemical we are going to handle with this. The one which is having the cotton inside and above this it is the painted one. So whether we can handle the acid with it? No, we cannot handle. So first of all, try to understand what is neoprene rubber. Go to Wikipedia. What is butyl rubber? What is PVC? What is nitrile? What is Vetron? And what is a natural rubber? Natural rubber are actually the weakest one, because we haven't to make use of the synthetic rubber. Give us the more protection against the chemicals instead of the natural rubber.
Okay, thank you, Jawad. Mr. Mohammed, now in respective
Yes.
of all the answers, you can
Yes.
conclude it. I think you can conclude it.
Anyway, when you face this question, also, I'm sure this question found in the span. When you face it, span explain in one table. I'm just advise all to study this table. Good. Because as you see here in the David Yates, more confusing. Even all of us confused. So many things like, for example, as he said, Butyron and rubber gloves is good with organic, and also Veton is good with organic. So sometimes you will find some confusing here with it. So the best solution, maybe you will find the same table or the same explanation are good in summarized way in the span. So better for all if they find to study good. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Well conclusion. Well conclusion. Uh, Again, Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor, are you there? Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor. Okay, I think he's not present. Now this is my turn to yes, Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor, you can only listening. Okay,
Assalamualaikum, sir, I'm with you throughout the session. I'm listening to you because on my side there is little noise. That's why I'm keeping myself silent.
okay, because it is your turn to question. So you can question.
Related to the PPE, sir,
Yes,
I have one small and quick question related to the topic. Okay,
yes,
it's basing to the project base. Uh, Normally, when
okay,
buys the
okay.
local products, okay, which is not meeting to the subjective requirement as per the standard. So in view of that, the company management, they push employees to use that subjective PPs which are not as per the standard. So in that sort of time, what the best action could be taken, that I should be seeking your advice in line to that.
Okay. Now I'm starting to give you an answer a little bit. Then maybe the
Yes,
other
sir.
parts will give their input. So basically, it's a matter of convincing your management. Simple is that. You are too much. You are much conscious about that. Your management is to do more. So it's a matter only you have to be survey of past or you analyze the past incidents happened to you by using the lower or bad quality PPEs. So by collecting the statistics of these kind of incident in the past, you may convince your management to have a meeting with them and convince them that this kind of incident will happen if we continues to using these bad quality PPEs, because you absolutely right. Your concern is very right that sometimes the low low standard contractors not afford the high quality or high price PPEs, because if we're talking about the cost, the good cost will give you the good quality PPEs. The bad, the, the less cost will give you the less quality PPEs. So it's only depend. And one thing more, as a starting point, you can not move to all mandatory PPs like at all the time simultaneously. You can analyze or collect the data of one kind of PP like hard starting from the hard hat, then move to the footwear, then move to the eye protection, then move to the coverall, then move to the gloves. So start from the one protective equipment, that is maybe that is eye protection, that is hard hat. So it's matter only a matter of convincing the management. So the easy way to convince them, to collecting a past data or collecting statistics of their industry, their nearbys, or any other related incident which happened at your site. So in this way, yeah, you can convince. So um, otherwise, it is very hard or it is very difficult to convince or to change the mindset. But by putting the continuous effort, by putting realistic or by showing the realistic data, you can able to achieve these kind of things. So my input is in this. The maybe there is other participant can speak on this.
Mr. Asghar, would you speak something? Mr. Mohammed? Okay, let me speak then. Okay, one thing is very important whenever, because we are going to put some purchase request for a material, how we have to analyze. First of all, we have to identify the jobs. Maybe there is a job that requires only 1 hour job. Okay, 1 hour job. So if you are like Mr. Muhammad had asked, okay, about the gloves, and then little bit then I explained about the gloves. If your job that needs only 1 hour, okay, and if you are going to purchase a glove for the 8 hour, and that is an occasional job, so it means that the for 8 hour 100% it will be very costly. So first of all, you have to identify your time limits. Okay, one thing is this. The other thing is this, in which areas, in which location. For example, you have the air, I mean this eye protection glasses. Okay, now you know, okay, which type of the shade you want to have. Okay, if you are going to have a air protection, I mean these sometimes I forget the glasses which are high rating shades, so it means that it is very costly. Maybe where you are working there, it's the winter season. During the winter season, it's not a too much glare at that time. Okay, if there is no glare, then demand this. Okay, we need these type of the ear gloves. Now you are sorry, eye protection. Now if you want the ear protection, okay, you don't know, like you want to make use for the generator area. Okay, the other one you are going in some other area. One area the noise level is like 115 or 10 decibel, and other area the noise level is almost near to 90 decibel. Okay, So if you are going to get the same like very high level for the 115 decibel, and you are going to use in the area of 92 or 93 decibel, so it means that you have purchased a very costly equipment. So it means that first of all you have to make a complete calculation according to the hazard specification, and then according to your job requirement also, how much time you have to make use of this, and weather environmental conditions. Once it has been identified, then you have to raise your purchase order automatically. Then there will be a reduction of the cost. You cannot go every time for the high cost for the all the products, okay, until or unless you are aware of these things.
So, Mr. Raza, are your question is clear somehow?
Yeah, thank
Hello.
you very much. The answer has been given very nicely. With your advice, that is also very important, and the advice given by Mr. Jawad Raza is also, because in both I have pointed out the PPE need analyze can make it better to convince the management. So appreciated and thankful. Thank you very much.
Okay, so nice.
And
Now,
people are reducing.
yes, but we have to put effort, and we have to we can say that we have to move forward, and we have to be ban on our target. So it's my turn now. Probably this turn will be the last questions of everybody. So my turn is now. My question is about regarding the respirators. So how many types of respirators, and how we classified them in terms of micro or micron particles? So can anybody answer this question? Yes, Mr. Jawad.
Actually, I didn't want to give this answer. I tried to wait somebody will try to give answer, but I was just looking. I don't know I'm right or wrong, but you know the respirators are actually the different categories. Actually, there are some atmospheric respirators, okay, and mainly the atmospheric respirators are like the positive pressure respirators, and under the positive pressure respirators, mostly these are come the SCBA and SABA and EEBA. Okay, SABA are actually those one which are actually used with the direct supply of the air, like with the cascade system. Okay, you just make an inlet, you can put the pigtail into the manifold, and you can work there for hours. And the compressor is also connected, and the cascade bottles are there. So this is a way. This is SABA. But SABA you can also make use as an EEBA. Like once you have removed stopped the job, you have taken out the pigtail, your regulator, you have then opened the regulator. First, actually, you have to open the regulator, and then you are going to escape in case of some emergency. And the other one is the self-contained breathing operators. So that is actually mostly the other 30 minutes, mostly even the 45 minutes are also there. So what you have to do, this is only for a general survey and the walkthrough, mainly in case of some emergency or in case of some hazardous job, you have to go and check that one. And EEBA, the simple one, this is the emergency escape breathing units. Mostly these are also the 15 minutes. You have just to wear and escape from the place. And there is also the power type. The power type are those what you have to do. They are not having any cylinder. There is a one pump, and the air is coming there, and the high pressure is the positive pressure is going to be generated inside the mask. That should be always more than the 1 psi. That's what is called the high power as positive pressure respirators. There are also the other general respirator like the cartridge type are there. So these are actually used to control some fumes and some, low concentration hazardous gases are there, because they are mostly having the charcoal and other material. So they actually absorb the material, and some also absorb. So you get the clean one. And there also comes the simple, the mask like N95. Mostly the respirators are these one, the charcoal one and the positive pressure respirators. So if I am not wrong, I have just tried to give the answer because nobody was going to give the answer. So that's why.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Jawad. There are different types of respirator. As mentioned by Mr. Jawad, there are like cartridge respirator. These are also called half phase, half purifying,
Yes.
that we have to use in like, uh, especially if we have dusty environment, we have dust or like fumes or vapors. So this cartridge respirator we use. The other, as said by Mr. Jawad, uh, like air purifying, or we also can call powder
The atmospheric. Okay, let me please. Sorry to interrupt you. The first one is the air purifying, the cartridge type. These are called the atmospheric respirators.
Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay.
These we have like we have chemicals and lots of vapors. So normally we use these types of respirators. And SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus, where we have a deficiency of oxygen. Normally we use this SCBA, where we have less oxygen or chances of less oxygen. Okay, that's it.
Okay. One thing more in this discussion is that the cartridge type respirators having some. Is there any rating of their its exhaustness? Because uh, I knew some incident happened at somewhere in here in Pakistan at Karachi. The chlorine gas was released in a very mass, or a blast is occurring in a heat exchanger. So the line of chlorine gas blasted, and mass release of chlorine gas there. So there is at that plant there was a protocol to have a full face mask for a beard person and a half face mask for other person. So there were about 10 to 20% person were working there. But when the mass chlorine gas was released, uh, all the all all the person were exposed, even even though they wear the half face or full face, both masks, but their cartridges were exhausted. So is there any rating we classified it that this cartridge will exhaust in, so in how many time, or this cartridge of will bear this kind of gas? uh, so is an other part of the question. So Mr.
Uh,
Jawad.
Yes, Mr. Imran, actually, whenever you make any selection, there is always a rating for this according to the nature of the gas or the environment. So this selection is always made prior to the purchase. Okay, the other thing is, yes, you can actually calculate the efficiency. The efficiency is actually, I don't remember I actually remember the formula, but what is, how much the value should be there? So it's the input divided by output. Inside divided by outside. So inside means what is the concentration of something that is inside, and what is the concentration that is outside. This is a quantitative analysis, but sometimes for the gases we cannot make use. Then we have to go with the qualitative test analysis. The qualitative analysis, this is actually called like a fit test. It comes, okay, when you wear this, at that time you begin to smell this. Chlorine is also having the pungent smell, and mostly you can smell chlorine also. Okay, so it also gets the irritation when you are actually wearing this at that time. If you begin to make smell of that thing, you begin to have a smell of that thing, it means that now it has been deteriorated. You cannot use this at any cost. Okay, this is actually not the answer of your question, but this is a way how something can be selected, whether it is fit for purpose or not. But for your question, this decision we cannot make by ourselves. Our sense only says when we are going to get a smell, or if it is a fiber shaped thing, something is there, okay, or some dust shaped thing, then inside the dust we have to take out, then we have to make a calculation, okay, and according to it we can identify, okay, what the average is coming from inside the outside. This is just a practical calculation. But the information which you want to know, this will be from its guide and from its book, that at what concentration of the chlorine this cartridge type respirator is sufficient, and for how much time. 100% this will be available in the specification of that cartridge, the time and the concentration. This we cannot decide by ourselves.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for the elaboration. Basically, its relation with the time, or its relation with the gas exposure, or its relation with the exposure rate. Maybe the less quantity will exhaust the cartridge in less time, and the more quantity of the gas will exhaust in quickly. So it's depend upon. Thank you for your elaboration, please. So it's you gave the answer, and now it's your turn, please. You have a question.
I think it was the last question either. Okay, so I think it's generally, instead of going to the questions now, we have to generally, discuss a few points if few people want to stay here for some time. So the general questions, like for the safety perspective, safety issues like this, that, so we can discuss that thing. So any question by any person, then the other person can try to give answer. It can also elevate our understanding from the other person's question. So Mr. Asghar, Mr. Muhammad,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Ali Raza, yeah.
Yeah, I have one question. This is related to face shields. Like we use different types of face shields as per our activities. Uh, there is one specific type of face shield which we use for ultraviolet rays. Anybody can tell the name of that specific face shield?
I'm sorry, I actually don't know the name of that shield, but it depends upon that they are mostly the glazed, okay, glazed sheets. And there is a, this polish or the glazed layer is on this. Then there is a rating for this thing, like for example, 14 rating, 12 rating, 7 rating. Okay, so I 100% don't remember what the rating will be implemented here, but there will be the rating for this thing according to its glazed power, because ultraviolet radiations, these mostly come during the welding, because welding job is there's a lot of chance that the ultraviolet radiations are coming, and also the from this what is called the from the sun. So this is just my answer, my input, and further
Okay.
some other experienced person has to go, but the rating is there. Keep in mind, 100% rating is there,
And
like
also
7 rating, 5 rating, 4 rating.
some standard, or some like Jawad has said, some rating has given in the table in this year's book. The portion is eye protection, so you can consult with it, or the other is there, the OSHA standard, which is very much elaborating all types of glasses, all types of face shields in a very comprehensive way. So you can go through, or for your memorization.
Yeah, this is a good thing, Imran. Why? Because like in the Yates, it is given. Like if you are going for the welding job, first of all, you have to identify from which sources you are going to get the ultraviolet. The thing is, the welding is the major source of the ultraviolet in the workplace. This is the major source. The other source is your sunlight. So for the sunlight, you can go. I have just opened this. I am looking at this. It is telling, for example, if it is a light, the rating should be there, the 3. Okay, you can make use the 3. But if you are going with the welding job, now welding, which type of welding? Carbon arc welding, torch soldering is there, or that gas tungsten welding? Which type of the welding you are going to do. So it means that you are going to do welding. So it means that the ultraviolet radiations are coming through. So what you have to identify the rating for carbon arc 14 rating. I mean these goggles or the face shield you have to wear. And similarly for the gas tungsten arc welding, you need to wear the it is showing the 8. Okay, so in this way we can get a good answer for this question. But the only thing is we should be capable to identify which type of the jobs are going to produce ultraviolet radiations. According to our experience in a general workplace, welding is the job that is the or this torch cutting or the welding, okay, which are going to produce the ultraviolet radiations. Otherwise, in the process industry, okay, like there are the kilns are there high, like if the temperature is more than 1200 1300 degrees centigrade, okay, at that time you know the some radiations which are coming from there, maybe the ultraviolet radiations are there, okay. So but the thing is this face shield or even for the goggles or the glasses, the standard for the protective shade protection will be the same. Yes,
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Asif.
Jawad, can we quickly summarize what type of question related to the PPs will come, and we will memorize the things about the answer of that. Like one question
Okay.
in my mind is that uh, at what decibel rate the person will start irritation or will start to not listening, I think. So what is the decibel range? So it's one of the question which I read earlier. So
Now the
we will
two things are there. Supersonic. If it is the supersonic that is coming after that, the air can blast. They cannot like up after nearly I think 140 dB. Okay, it is coming. Then at that time, you know the air can blast. So you cannot damage. Otherwise, this is almost below. I think it is 20. Actually, if we calculate in the frequency, this is between the 20 to 20,000 hertz. In between we can hear the sound. After 20,000 hertz we cannot hear the sound, and below the 20 hertz we cannot hear any sound. Okay, so the frequency 20 hertz means the less frequency, 20,000 hertz the more frequency, because as the frequency increases the sound becomes very shrill. Shrill means very like it is in the form of a needle type of voice, and it will become like this. So above 20,000 hertz we cannot. So what is the heart? I think it is almost 30, but we can hear. I give you example. If we are sleeping in at night, and you know it is the winter season, okay, no AC, no fan, nothing is okay, quite calm area, you can even hear the clock tick 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 noise, okay. So it depends upon your surrounding noise that at what level you can hear or at what level you cannot hear. The only thing we can identify the frequency. The frequency can be different, like the 20 a sound at a 100 decibel and a sound at 80 decibel. They can have the similar frequencies. The frequency can be between 20 to 20,000 decibel. They can have the similar frequency. The frequency of a sound actually change the nature of the sound. For example, a man voice and the female voice. Okay, there is a pitch of the sound. So pitch of the sound is also, I think it's a reciprocal to the frequency there.
Yes, yes, they're, they're very right. So, is there any question in anybody's mind regarding PPs? And I think in the end of this session, maybe a little bit exercise from a span or a trauma related, maybe it will be helpful. So, but we now we are discussing one question. So maybe now anybody have another question? Quick
One
question.
question, yes, one question I want to ask about the category of biological PPE protection. If
Yes,
anybody
nice.
know about this.
Mr. Mohammed, for the actually you are having the laboratory situation. This is the class 1, class 2, and the class C are there. For the class 1, this is a general one. For the biological protection, you have just to wear the the gloves, goggles, and this one. I mean, like in the general labs, we are having that one. They are mostly the class 1. Okay, the mask, gloves, and the apron. This you have to wear. For the class 2, what you have to do, you have to work in the lab, but you have to cover whole of your body, like your face, your head. Like for the corona, you know about the corona. So like mostly the corona sort of the things you are going with the class 2, level 2 type of the PPs. So mostly these are the level 2 type of the PPs you have to wear. And for the level 3, actually these are mostly for the exotic type of these things. For this thing, you have to even wear that all, but that operation what you are going to do, that also will be a totally separate. Like if you want to make a use of your hand, then there will be a compartment. Okay, there will be a compartment. In front of that compartment you can see through glass everything, but that is a closed compartment. What you do at that time, you actually put your arm through that compartment, and there is a glove inside it, and with by wearing that glove, and then you can work inside that compartment. Okay, this is the actual the difference in the PPs which you have to wear. For level 1, general diseases, normal diseases, you have to wear the mask, gloves, and the goggles only. There is no specific protection. For the level 2 that is coming, like for the corona and like this type, you have to wear the level 2 type of the PPE. Level 2 means you have not to confine your work practice area, okay, but you have to confine yourself with the full PPs. Okay, but if it is the level 3, then you have to confine yourself also and the area you are working. So nothing should come out from that this work platform towards you. So this is the type of the PPs which we have to wear. And
Okay,
if
thank
you
you.
know, yeah,
Yeah, very good, very good explanation. Thank you.
thank you, welcome.
Another last question.
I think we should ask Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor, then we have to hang on.
Okay, Mr. Ali, please ask any question do you want, or anything do you want. Mr. Ali, I think Mr. Ali, I think he has some problem in his mic. Uh, he is there, but I think he's not listening. Mr. Ali Raza Manzoor,
Okay,
can
no
you?
issue. So no issue, Imran. So what we think, if Mr. Muhammad Asghar and Mr. Muhammad Abdul Monsif, he also gets agreed about this thing. If we are going to complete our session, if some time is left, so what we have to do, every person is having like a span, Yates, sorry, span or some data cam or any type of. So what we have to do at that time, during that time period, people have just to open that one and have to ask the question about that thing, because those are the specific questions which are related for this preparation. So gradually, with the passage of time, we will also get familiar about the few question types, a few domains like this, that, and it will also help us to evaluate that at what level we are. Here we can speak like I am speaking here, but when the questions come like this, maybe my answer is correct or incorrect at many places. So it will
Yes.
also help us to identify at which level we are going now.
Okay, Jawad, you are very much elaborated that. I think of the sessions recording is on the daily basis is shared with all the group members. I think when we discuss more about the span now, after discussing the assigned chapter, on a daily basis, we are doing the exercise on the year's books chapter. After that, if we discussing about, or if we showing some question on that, so maybe the other participants interest will develop and they will come to attend these kind of sessions. So uh, they this is a time now, after the question answering or after the self study of the chapter, we have to be exercised on some questions, so that the interest will develop, or your you can say that your practice is much again. So I think we can use this philosophy to catch other group members, to catch other participants, so that they will come, because every day few participants are regular and other are not coming. So it's not good, but uh, but we have to be putting our effort, but we have to sell something. If we don't sell something, maybe the people will not come. So if there is a span book showing in a recording, if there is a discussion on a point, answer of ABC, so maybe the interest will develop and the people come there. These kind of things is very easy, and we